There's a term in psychology called emotional withdrawal as self-protection. It's not about playing games. It's not manipulation. It's what happens when someone has reached out so many times and felt nothing come back, that they start conserving their own emotional energy just to survive the relationship. She still loved you during this phase. Let that sit for a second. She was pulling away, and she still loved you. But love, without feeling seen, starts to feel like a prison you built yourself. She'd lie next to you at night, close enough to touch, and feel completely alone. Do you know how exhausting that is? To feel lonely inside a relationship? To be with someone and still miss them? That's not distance. That's a quiet kind of heartbreak that never makes a sound. And then came the moments that should have been turning points, but weren't. She tried to tell you, in the only language she could, not with words, because words hadn't worked, but with behavior. She got quieter at dinner. She stopped initiating. She'd make plans with friends more often. She smiled less when you walked in the room. Every one of those signals was a message. I need you to show up. I need you to notice. I need you to try. But instead of reading those signals, you felt defensive. You thought she was being distant. You thought she was the problem. You pulled back too, not out of cruelty, but out of confusion. And that gap between you two? It stopped being a gap. It became a wall. Here's the painful truth. The moment you both started waiting for the other person to reach first was the moment the relationship began to die. There's a shift that happens in a woman's emotional world that is almost impossible to reverse once it occurs. Psychologists call it deactivation. It's not anger. It's not bitterness. It's something far quieter and far more final. It's the moment she stops imagining a future with you. Not because she hates you, but because hoping started to hurt more than accepting. She stopped picturing your names together in her future plans. She stopped saving things to tell you later. She started making peace with the version of her life that doesn't include you. And the terrifying thing? From the outside she looked calmer, more stable, like things were fine. Because they were, for her, because she had finally let go of something she'd been holding on to alone for months. You mistook her peace for progress. It was goodbye. Now here's what I need you to really hear, because this is the part that changes everything. It was never about perfection. She wasn't asking you to be extraordinary. She wasn't asking for grand gestures or poetic declarations. She was asking for presence, consistency, the feeling of being a priority, not all the time, not unrealistically, just enough to remind her that she mattered more than convenience. She wanted you to ask how she was, and actually wait for the answer. She wanted you to remember that she mentioned something once and bring it up later. She wanted to feel like being loved by you was something you actively chose, not something that just happened in the background while you lived your actual life. That's it. That's all it was. And it felt so simple to give, but it never came. So here's the question I want to leave burning in your mind. Who did you become when you got comfortable? Because the man who pursued her, who was curious about her, who made her laugh, who made her feel like the most important thought in his head, he didn't disappear because you're a bad person. He disappeared because comfort made you stop trying. And she didn't fall in love with someone who stopped trying. She fell in love with someone who made her feel worth the effort. This isn't a story about blame. It's not about making you feel guilty. It's about something deeper. The kind of self-awareness that most people only reach after they've already lost someone who deserved better. The healthiest thing you can do right now, whether she's still in your life or already gone, is ask yourself honestly, was I present? Was I consistent? Did I make her feel chosen? Or did I make her feel like a given? Because the answer to that question isn't about her. It's about the man you want to be in the next relationship, in the next moment, right now. Growth doesn't come from understanding why she left. It comes from understanding who you were, when no one was holding you accountable but yourself. If this video pulled something out of you, a memory, a realization, maybe even a name, don't scroll past that feeling. Sit with it. Because that discomfort, that's not pain. That's clarity. And clarity, as uncomfortable as it is the first step toward becoming someone who doesn't repeat the same story twice. Subscribe if you want more of this, not motivation, not quick fixes, just truth, the kind that actually changes something inside you. She didn't leave you. She didn't stop loving you overnight. That's the part nobody tells you. There was no single moment, no dramatic argument, no obvious breaking point. It happened in silence, in all the small moments you didn't notice, because you weren't paying attention. And here's what's going to hit you hard before this video ends. The version of you she fell in love with, she's still grieving him. She just stopped waiting for him to come back. Stay with me, because what I'm about to tell you isn't just about her. It's about a pattern, one that destroys relationships slowly, invisibly, and almost always too late to fix. Think back to the beginning. When you first met her, you were present, fully present. You noticed when she went quiet. You remembered what she said 3 weeks ago. You made her feel like she was the most interesting person in the room, because to you, she was. That version of you didn't just attract her. It made her feel safe. It made her feel chosen. Not just loved, chosen, every single day. But then something shifted. Life got busy. Comfort crept in, and slowly, without realizing it, you stopped choosing her. Not because you stopped caring, but because you assumed she already knew. That assumption, that one quiet assumption, that's where it all started to fall apart. Here's a psychological truth that most people never understand. Women don't withdraw because they stop caring. They withdraw because they got tired of caring too much, alone. She started pulling back long before you noticed. It began with small things. She stopped sharing little details about her day, not because nothing happened, but because she learned you wouldn't really listen. She'd tell you something that mattered to her, and you'd nod while looking at your phone. Or you'd give a one-word answer. Or you'd change the subject to something about yourself. She didn't say anything. She never made it into a fight. She just quietly started keeping things to herself. And you read that silence as peace, as contentment, as her being fine. She was not fine.